Hello guys, welcome to Zero to Hero. Today we are going to discuss about the Coinbase situation and the new announcement from Coinbase that proved to be a nothing burger. On top of that, we are going to discuss about the latest announcement from Dominic Williams about the launch of CAFFEINE AI and new interesting technological enhancements for caffeine and for the world computer ICP. On top of that, we are going to check the latest relevant news and we are going to take a look at the setup for ICP. Once again, is this a buying opportunity and what are the targets that I'm currently looking at? Where is a good risk to reward ratio? So stay tuned and let's dig deep into the rabbit hole. Okie dokie guys, welcome back to the channel. First thing that I'm going to check here is a volume profile. Near Protocol versus ICP fighting already since 2022. In reality, ICP is a top 10 blockchain, should be in the top 10. Volume profile dropped since yesterday. $1.12 billion for ICP, the second highest daily volume for ICP since Genesis really. This volume is still incredibly high compared to the 29th of October when we recorded one of the lowest volumes for ICP, only $32 million. Actually, this is quite normal for a correction in a wave 2, but we are going to discuss about this in a second. Now, once again, regarding the volume, as I mentioned, $1.12 billion. So you may see that in 2025, January, when we had also a lot of hype, April 2024, January 2024, we had high volume above $500 million. Currently, volume still is very, very high. Now, let's continue with the other news, daily news for ICP, and I have quite a lot of news to show you. First of all, before the Coinbase announcement was published, I mentioned here, today we will find out if the rumor about ICP and Coinbase is true or not. I think the likelihood is low for all the reasons I have already mentioned. I mentioned warning, those are just rumors, speculations. In any case, we will find out soon. So what did we find out a couple of hours later? There is no really news. No news. Coinbase has simply launched a new launchpad, which is nothing really too interesting for ICP, the world computer. However, Dominic Williams has posted something about that and has mentioned this conversation about Onchain. So the evolution of crypto, an asset, a financial platform, an app platform, CAFFEINE AI builds apps on chain. So the positive point that Dominic Williams mentioned here is that we are starting to have more discussions about on-chain. The real problem, once again, in my book is that 99.9% of the people talking about on-chain don't really understand what on-chain is. Because until now, on-chain equals a token ledger transferring token A from chain X to chain XYZ with a bridge that is not secure, not safe, and this is how people lost millions of dollars in the last 5 to 6 years on so-called interoperabilities and golden standards of interoperabilities in crypto. However, ICP offers a total new standard of interoperability. No bridges are needed. No bridges. Everything is built and deployed fully on the blockchain. When this Solana and other blockchains talk about on-chain, can they run on-chain computation? They cannot. They cannot run AI on-chain. It's impossible because the useful work their blockchains perform are hundreds of thousands, and this is not an exaggeration, hundreds of thousands lower than the one on ICP. Data is stored on-chain, yes or no? Unfortunately not. Data is not stored on chain for Solana because it's too expensive. Solana cannot even store a picture on the blockchain. Now, talking about storing data on chain, this is the total canister state for ICP, keeps on increasing. And this is a good news with CAFFEINE AI. This should keep on steadily increasing and people will have to pay for this storage. We're going to discuss about that in a second. So this is the power of real on-chain, that the data, the whole application, you have seen my dashboard, is stored on the ICP blockchain, not on Amazon Web Services, like other blockchains do. And I did display already in many articles that Solana did use it, Near Protocol did use it, AVAX, Polygon, you name them, all off-chain because the cost of storage is too high. Now let's continue with other news. We are going to see another interesting post, very interesting post from Dominic Williams about timelines for Caffeine AI and technological enhancements. So OKX, gas token, of course, ICP, but no need to gas, no need to speculate. This is all about true revolutionary technology. ICP equals world computer. The sad truth is that most of the people still don't understand what the world technology means, what the world on-chain means, what the world interoperability means, what does it mean not having to use bridges, but being able to really, without using a third party, process a transaction. A third party is a huge element of weakness. Luis Liu, I had him on the channel as a guest here. He explained this very, very well, that you have two parties, me and you, we want to transfer some tokens on XYZ blockchain, and we need to rely on a third party. If the third party, if the team runs out with our tokens, we are both screwed. We are not going to ever see our tokens. This is what is called a bridge hack. Happened multiple times in crypto. So unfortunately, people don't really understand all this very complex vocabulary and the technicality behind it. I have been happily in crypto for 10 years, so I kind of understand these things. I'm not a developer, I'm just an average Joe, but very interested in technology, so I did my own research. But let's continue talking about ICP here. So this comment from Dominic Williams we are going to see in a second, the setup we are going to see in a second, the stake supply on ICP continues increasing, which is enormously positive for the internet computer. We need to see more people locking their ICP for 6 months to 8 years, really showing conviction in this blockchain and showing that they understand and they want to be long-term holders of this project. Now, let's discuss about Caffeine AI. So, pro tip, Caffeine will switch on Web3 capabilities, so apps fully on-chain. This is really fully on-chain. Can be created with trustless multi-chain capabilities and process and custody tokens like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and ICP. What the heck does this mean? Simply that finally a lot of people will be able to build their own applications on the internet computer for other projects. You will be able to build a wallet on Solana that will be able to interact with another wallet. You will be able to hold tokens, even meme tokens if you want. Whatever you wish, it's possible on ICP. This will attract a lot of new interest simply because these other blockchains don't have the capabilities to offer that, and people will be interested. Imagine, now, I deploy a whole dashboard on Sui, okay? Or a whole dashboard about Cardano, and start posting this on social media. Hey, I have built a whole dashboard about Cardano, showing the TPI, showing everything, the details, having some tokens on Cardano or on Solana, being able to transfer them. Someone from the Solana or Sui community will say, oh, what's that? How did you build that? I'm interested, I want to try it. The whole community will want to try it. It's normal. If someone would deploy something very cool on ICP, I would want to try it as well. So this brings then a ton of interest, I believe, in Web3. This is related to Web3. The target audience for Caffeine is still much broader, but we have a product also for Web3 folks. So now, what is the issue? Okay, what are they working on? And let me tell you straight away that here will take a little longer, but we'll get there hopefully in Q1 next year. You know that I don't really like providing any sort of timelines when working with technology simply because we know that things can always go wrong and things tend to always take longer than expected. However, there is a reason why they need to work, and there is a technicality, and I will explain what it is. So currently, Caffeine recycles draft app canisters / smart contracts when they aren't being used for efficiency reasons. For example, why can I not currently, my dashboard basically has been slightly depreciated. Some badges are missing. Why can I not fix it? Because I have used those drops 2 months ago, and now those drops have fully expired simply to not overwhelm the blockchain. So this is going to be fixed now. So users don't need to pay cycles to maintain those drafts. Makes absolute sense, because if I had to pay cycles to maintain drafts that I'm not even using for 2 months, this doesn't really have a lot of sense. Since it is the canister that controls tokens, recycling would currently result in a draft app losing its tokens, and in principle, the user who gets the recycled canisters to work on their draft app would even be able to steal them, which is not great, of course. To solve this, once Caffeine payment features are turned on, we will add a special Web3 app model, which allows users to permanently own the relevant draft canisters like they do now for an app they publish live. This is very good to see, and these are really technicalities, but are important to attract new users and new developers in the ecosystem. 2, we need to train AI to implement good token processing and multi-chain patterns. In similar manner, we train the AI to use the latest version of the Motoko language whenever we do a release. Also, of course, very important. We'll use the new Motoko language mixing feature so that the AI can draw on stable DeFi code rather than creating everything from scratch each time. So these are all very interesting enhancements, technical enhancements for the internet computer, for Caffeine AI. I believe the vast majority of the people that are not really developers or have a technical background understand those. I understand them simply because I have been building for months already on Caffeine AI. So more or less, I understand what they're talking about, and I have been facing some issues that they are not now going to fix slowly with time, which is obviously very, very important. Now, let's continue with something else. I will show you the setup for ICP before ending this video. So I did mention already that I'm tracking a wave 1 and a retracement in a wave 2. This is now decision time because Fibonacci retracement levels need to be respected or / need to hold, most importantly. So we got a reaction already. 2 4-hourly candles reacting to this first Fibonacci retracement level. Fairly good. This gives me more confidence that we are potentially looking at the correct wave count here. So what I'm still looking at is an A, B, C correction, most likely lower. I would say most likely here lower to the next Fibonacci retracement level is not guaranteed. It could move higher, but usually what happens that here you have some momentum in a wave 1, you have some hype, and you need to shake out the vast majority of the new people that jumped on board here. You just need to do that if you want to move higher, because if you would be pushing higher and higher and higher, at some point you need to get exhausted. So what the wave 2 usually does, it's quite a deep retracement that shakes out all the weak hands, completely shake them out, obliterates them. They're screaming it's so over, so the sentiment is again negative. This is a bear market, this is going to all-time lows, this is an S coin, this is a scam once again, a sort of rug pull, all these sort of things come back, okay? All this good sentiment very quickly get reversed. This is the psychology of the market, and then usually if this is really go time, this bottoms, the whales again accumulate, volume increases here, volume now here. In the beginning is still high because there is momentum to the downside, and then volume slowly starts decreasing, okay? Very important, volume decreases a lot, so people lose interest, people start losing interest here, start panic selling, and then when there is not so much volume, they can again, with a lot of their volume, jump in and move this one more time. And this is usually then the wave 3, the FOMO wave, where all these people that were shaken jump on board one more time. The party continues for weeks/months, and then depending on the setup, this is just a corrective ABC to the upside, or this is the big deal in 5 ways with the potential uptrend that continues. But in any case, even if we get a 3, this would still be quite a large, substantial move. But first, once again, we need desperately to hold these Fibonacci retracement levels. So, risk ratio, what I'm currently looking at, I don't like the risk ratio here because I'm simply already invested. I still had the chance to buy ICP at $3, $4, $5 in the past multiple times, under $6.8. This was the epic support level for ICP, around $6.7, $6.8. This is the line was the previous line in the sand between the bullish scenario and between no scenario at all. Now we are again here, again fighting against this level, and it's again decision time, again at this level. So this simply tells me this is very relevant. If we lose this, most likely we go to the next one, and then really if we lose this one as well, I would say the last chance is the 618. Dropping lower than that would already show me that this is very, very weak, very, very shaky. So a good risk ratio for me, since I'm already invested, would be here between those two Fibonacci retracement level. If we go so low, I hope we don't, honestly, because the weaker, more shallow this retracement is, the better for the wave 3. And this simply show me interest then. But knowing ICP, knowing that ICP struggled for quite some time, knowing that this wasn't long enough to attract enough new users to jump on board, to simply buy the dip, I would still say that I would expect lower, but you never know. Don't take this as a financial advice. This is just my theory. All of these are just theories, and I'm having fun looking at the charts. As I mentioned, 20% it's technical analysis on this channel, while 80% is really technology, fundamental analysis, checking revenue, expenses, and stuff like that. Now, a couple of people asked me a few interesting questions related revenue, expenses, and earnings on ICP. I showed Solana, I showed Ethereum, and other blockchains as well. I showed that they are not profitable. And a person asked me, how do you calculate this revenue and expenses? How it is possible that these blockchains are operating with huge losses? Well, every blockchain has a different calculation of their expenses, of their fees, revenue, and earnings. Let me explain. For some blockchains like ICP, fees equal revenue. For Solana, for example, only 50% of the fees equal revenue for them. So on ICP, what revenue really is? Token burn. How do we burn token? Simply by burning cycles, simply by generating demand for compute. If we have a lot of demand for compute, meaning developers want to build and deploy applications on the internet computer, or now Caffeine AI offers on-chain storage. Millions of applications are stored on the ICP blockchain. Of course, you need to pay a subscription. Why? Because you need to pay for your cycles. This is what Dominic has mentioned. What happens if you keep on paying drafts that you're not using? This is not really efficient. So they're trying to find ways to optimize the use of cycles. So this is as cheap as possible for the end user, so the subscription cost can stay as low as possible and stay competitive versus Replit, versus Lovable, and other AI generative tools. So this is the whole point. What about expenses? For ICP, expenses equals node provider rewards. Those are very important because without them there is no uptime for the blockchain. And of course, staking rewards for people that are committing, staking, and locking their internet computer for 8 years. Those are the tokenomics and the revenue calculus, expenses and earnings calculus for ICP. ICP is currently around 11x away from being profitable / 11x from being at par, not being yet deflationary, I'm sorry. So, At this point in time, what ICP needs to do, increase revenue. But also, if only increases revenue, this is not the solution. So costs need also to stay lower. The higher the price of ICP, the lower the node rewards, because we pay them in a fixed amount of dollars in ICP. So the higher the price for ICP, the lower the node rewards, and the higher the price for ICP, nothing changed in terms of staking rewards, because these people can then sell them on the open market. This is why we need new users also, so they can buy these tokens of the open market if people decide to sell their staking rewards. So this economy is very smart. The tokenomics are very, very good only if ICP can reach some sort of mass adoption. In this case, this really works, and this is a very sustainable system. Now, when I compare ICP versus Ethereum versus Solana, their systems are simply not sustainable, and I don't see a way for their systems to be constantly sustainable and profitable, simply because they weren't built having mass adoption in mind. You can just check Solana and Ethereum. They have, let's say, they claim they have some sort of adoption, some sort of usage, millions of meme coins launched on their blockchain. But even that is not enough to sustain them. They're recording astronomically high losses. And this is the problem in crypto. And this is why I don't see any other way to escape from this bubble. The only solution currently is the demand for compute, or maybe another blockchain that has tokenomics that really make sense, that can generate revenue. I'm not saying I'm 100% always only into ICP. Maybe there will be a competitor in the future. Why not? Why not look at competitors if it makes sense? If it's built properly, if it's really good technology, I'm always for good technology. If there would be a competitor for the internet computer, I would be very happy. Everyone would be very happy. People at Definity would be very happy. Holders here would be very happy. They would push our narrative. And this is how ICP now was leading the market. Everyone was looking at ICP, talking about technology, about all this sort of stuff. When there is some momentum, when there is some hype, when there is some price action to reflect this. That's the whole point here. So this is why I'm telling on-chain equals the new online, but how many people know what on-chain really is? And you would say, yeah, we are completely screwed because nobody knows. But I'm still here after 2 years talking about that. And people know me, and some people learned. And I believe more people will learn in the future. I just think that I'm maybe was looking at the same door for multiple years, but I don't see any other doors that look as good, that look as functional. That's it. If I see another door in the future, I will start looking there as well. But for now, I simply don't see it, and I don't see these blockchains being built for mass adoption. This is what data tells me. It's also my personal opinion, but based on some data, backed up by some sources, by some research, okay, of some sort. Okay, guys, this was a very interesting question. If you have other interesting questions, let me know. I'm checking questions. I have been overwhelmed, guys, in these days. Didn't sleep much. Tried to cover. This is an opportunity for not only for me. This is an opportunity mostly for the internet computer, because this is free marketing effort for the Definity Foundation. Okay, don't get me wrong. I don't get one single penny of that. I'm just investing my time. Time equals money. Time is the only asset that I will never be able to recoup. So time is extremely important for me. And I'm using my time to promote them because I believe in them, because I trust the process and I trust the project. But of course, show me the money. I need to see some results as well as an investor. Okay, guys, if you have any other questions, let me know, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.